Barkley, personal trainer, private cook, fitness expert, and I am here today with my friend Shannon Dougherty. I pronounce it Dougherty, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm here.
Yep.
I'm like, just like 90210.
Even better.
I'm here with my friend Shannon, who I have known for about 5 or 6 years, and she and I met at an event, at a fitness event, and she's a part of an organization called the Fit Mom Diet, and we clicked and we had a connection, and we've been social media friends ever since. And I'm talking with her today because she has a story that I think will be really interesting for all of you. Specifically, my homegirl here just lost 20 pounds. And she made a post about it. She's been counting her macros and getting dialed in on her business. And I was like, 20 pounds, how, who, what, where, when? This isn't a girl who like got so far off the rails, like you didn't even recognize her. Like this was a girl who's like fit and healthy, and suddenly she lost 20 pounds. Probably not suddenly, but so I'm like, this is an amazing story for someone who's fit and healthy to have kind of gone to that next extra level. And I know so many of you are already fit and healthy and want to do that too. So I invited Shannon to be here with me today to talk a little bit about that experience, and also just about, you know, herself. She's amazing. So Shannon, I'm going to hand it over to you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and just give our viewers kind of a history on you and what you're all about.
Yes. So thank you for having me. And I have been in the health and fitness world forever, I feel like. As a young girl, I struggled with my weight. I, in college, had started with an eating disorder. I got into personal training once I was done with school. I went to school for sports medicine. So I was in, working with athletes in the athletic setting, preventing and caring for injuries.
Oh, wow.
I got into personal training, and then have really, kind of once you're in personal training, you just don't feel like you ever leave. So always helping others, which is great. With diet and fitness, started Fit Mom Diet about 6 years ago with a girlfriend of mine. We wanted to empower women to live a healthier lifestyle after having kids, and knowing the struggles of trying to lose weight after having babies, and just the realistic approach to not doing fad diets, not doing all the crazy trends and magic pills to get back on track and feeling normal. So, I've had my own personal health journey throughout the years, and in my adult life, I was never overweight. I kind of went through my, like I said, eating disorder and got back on track. And I've always eaten clean per se, have tracked my macros, but I just was never really honest with myself. And I think the fact that, yes.
Can I stop you right there? What's a macro?
Macro. So a food is made up of protein, carbs, and fats.
Okay.
And so basically every food that you eat has that genetic makeup. And so there are various types of ways to track. People sometimes think, oh, I'm just going to count calories, which is okay. And for the most part, you see most women trying to limit the amount of calories they're taking. Like, I'm just going to eat 1,200 calories and I'm going to eat the least amount possible and I'm going to lose weight. Well, you may initially lose weight, but in the long run, your body's going to say like, woohoo, I'm starving myself. So we'll jump back into that. But as far as, I tracked loosely, tracking my macros, which we'll talk about. But, and I was always what I thought eating healthy. But in the meantime, I was grabbing a snack from my kids, grabbing from the kids' plate here and there, and not really consistently tracking and being true to myself of all those extra things I was doing. So I'm turning 40 this December.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you. So last, October, November, I kept saying to myself, what is holding me back from really like reaching my true potential? And I was 160 pounds, which people would think like, oh, that's all muscle. You don't look like you're 160 pounds. And I'm 5'8".
How tall? 5'8".
I'm 5'8". I just had that layer that wasn't going away, and sat down, had a real heart-to-heart with myself and thought like, what is holding me back? So I was just completely motivated. Yep.
Was that like an average weight for you? Like, had that become like a new set point?
It was between like 155 and 160.
Okay. Perfectly healthy weight.
Totally healthy weight. It was just that layer. Like, I thought for the amount of hard work I put in, I'm not seeing those results. I'm hypothyroid, and I've been on thyroid medication for 15 years, 20 years. So nothing had changed with my medication. Everything's pretty much the same. So I really dug deep and I thought, you know what, I am going to hire a coach and really be held accountable to reach a goal for myself when I turn 40, to feel the best, be in the best shape. And I don't necessarily need to have a number on the scale to be happy. So it was more about a feeling and just feeling good in my clothes. So started out not with the intention to lose 20 pounds, but just, all right, I'm at about 1,300 calories, knowing that's low, knowing for the amount that I work out, like I should be eating more.
You were only eating 1,300 calories a day?
Yes.
How hungry were you?
And I wasn't. So that's the thing.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So starting with my macro coach, Kari, she bumped me up to about 1,500 calories.
Okay.
At that point, I think my macros were like, as far as the carbohydrate intake, I was using on a daily basis was about 160 grams of carbs, maybe even
that's
less.
Reasonable.
And my protein was lower. I was eating way too much protein just because I thought I'm gonna do a higher protein, lower carb, which you hear of the majority of women and people
for sure
these days, going with the trend of more on the keto, carbs are bad type of mindset. And so I started with my nutrition, just really dialing in and entering everything into MyFitnessPal, which is the app that I use to enter my food on a daily basis. And for some people, it's overkill. But for me, I feel like I needed that accountability, knowing that I was going to check in with my coach every Friday and knowing that I had someone watching over me, making adjustments along the way. And lo and behold, on Thursday, when they're like, oh, I want to have ice cream, I want to have this, I knew Friday was check-in and I was probably going to avoid eating those things. So just having someone over the last 6 months really focus on, at least for me, knowing that they are watching out over me, and that I have to report something.
Yeah.
For the mind, it's pretty phenomenal that someone...
Good old accountability.
Even remote can be a huge accountability partner. So accountability was huge, just setting that goal knowing I'm turning 40. And then also I said to myself, I lift weights 4 times a week. I have, I run a ton, and I wanted to do something in the gym and fitness wise that was realistic. So I didn't want to be out having to run 3, 4, 5 miles a day. I didn't want to, I wanted to maximize my time in the gym and not spend hours. Not that I was spending hours before, but really, what can I do long-term that's sustainable, that will make me feel good and have the results? So I love to walk, and it came down to, I'm just going to focus on my steps. I may run here and there, but steps is kind of my love and passion, and walking.
Cool.
So really just focusing on my steps. I still lift about 4 times a week, but I'm in and out in 30 minutes and I'm done. Not dilly-dallying. And then, as we know, nutrition is 85% of the equation. So if your nutrition isn't on point and you're not tracking, or if you're not even being aware of your portion sizes, which I weigh a lot of my food just to make sure, I can eyeball. And when I'm on vacation, I allow that time to just have not necessarily free-for-all, but at least be a little bit more lax on what I'm tracking. But when I'm home and have the opportunity to do my best, I focus on pretty much making it to the T with what I'm eating. So,
or were you weighing yourself regularly? Like, did you step on the scale one day and be like, oh my gosh, and how long did it take for you to lose 20 pounds?
Yeah. So about 5 months, every Friday I check in with Kari and I basically give a weight. So I step on the scale about once a week.
Yeah.
A little bit more just to kind of keep me on track. And it's fascinating. So step on the scale on Monday, it may be high. And then, obviously the scale goes up and down because it fluctuates with water. And
I love that you're talking about that.
And bowel movements. And if you haven't pooped for 2 days, you're like, here. And then the next day you're down 3 pounds. So it's amazing just to see and to track, not to go mental about it, but really just if you're to track for a week and just see the change that can happen.
It's noticing what's going on in your body. I tell my clients, just notice, and don't be alarmed by it, especially if you had a salty meal or if you had something that your body has an inflammatory response to, it's perfectly normal.
Yeah. And don't go crazy thinking, oh my gosh, I've gained, 3 pounds. Just stay focused. And if there's a little, there's going to be life. So life happens. There's going to be an event. There's going to be a holiday. There's going to be a birthday party. There's going to be 10, 10 different things that pop up in your life. But if you just know those and ride the waves and not freak out about a pound or here or there. So every Friday I check in and the scale kept going down at a slow, nice, steady rate.
So let's hold on. So
yeah.
you kept checking in. You were started off at 1,300 calories, and then you started eating more and started losing weight.
Yes. So
let's talk about that.
Yeah. So every week, my macro coach would add calories.
Wow.
Every week, I would get I check in Friday morning, weigh myself first thing in the morning, enter my weight, enter my compliance out of 10. I'm usually about an 8 or 9 because no one's perfect as far as sticking to my macros and calories, and I'm okay with that. And then any notes I just kind of jot down. So then she responds saying, this is where I want you to eat next week. So next week, I want you to bump up to say 150. I don't know where I started. I've got to go back and look. But every week I bumped up about 10 carbs, a little bit of protein, and the fat increased. So right now I eat 75 grams of fat. So right now, today, in the past few weeks, I eat 235 grams of carbs.
Wow.
Okay, 75 grams of fat and 140 grams of protein. So that is not something that just happened overnight. I started and I bumped up and increased over 5 months about 600 calories. So
how many calories now are you at?
I would say I bumped up from my start about 650 calories.
So, and you have not upped your workouts?
No.
Wow. And so what do you attribute, what do you attribute that to? That you're eating a ton more, you aren't working out anymore, and you've lost weight. Why?
Okay. So first things first, the mindset, completely determined that it starts with the mind. Because if your mind's not in the right spot and you don't have the clear-cut vision, you're typically not going to be as successful. Okay. I've been helping people, which is my passion forever and ever, but I have cut back and basically have started to help myself instead of, practicing what I'm preaching all these years. And now it's time. And it's not, I can't say it's selfish because it's time for me to help me. Mm-hmm. And people will ask, oh, can you help me with my diet plan, nutrition, workout? And I'm like, nope, this is who can help you. Someone else can help you because I'm done. And it's come to a point where I think it's better if it's, if I'm paying someone to help me on a weekly basis, I think I'm going to get better results because obviously when you pay for something and you sign up for something, you're going to show up instead of oh, my friend made me this program and I'm going to try it for a week. And that's what typically happened. Oh, Shannon wrote me a program, I'm going to try it. And then they come back in a year oh, can you do that again for me? So it's time for me to just say no. And I'm trying to simplify my life. So saying no is one of the things in the health and fitness world that I just have had to do. And I'm okay with it.
I love it.
And I'm at a point in my life where I'm okay with saying no. And I'll kind of just do my own thing.
Cool. But I'm talking about the science, physiologically speaking. Can you explain, and maybe you don't know exactly, and that's okay too, but can you explain physiologically, why would you start eating more calories, not working out anymore, and then lose weight?
Okay. So basically, in a roundabout way, my metabolism the furnace is turning on. So as I am on a weekly basis, adding more calories and your body is saying, wow, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue to burn. And that's why you don't make a big jump every week. You maybe add just 10 grams of carbs, which is only 40 calories.
Yeah.
So adding 10 grams of carbs is like eating, 2 chips, basically, extra. It's not a whole lot.
Right. Right.
So, and then just allowing your body to adjust. I don't really have the scientific.
No, that's it. You just answered it. Thank God. Every woman in the world is oh, but I'm only eating 1,300 calories. And the guy is oh, I don't eat that much. Why am I not losing weight? So I think this is just so poignant. And I'm so happy that you've had this experience to share with the world. Because even though you're not saying, oh, I'm personally gonna help you today, but here's who can help you, is that what's so awesome about your experience and your journey is you are helping so many people. Is now all these people are what are you doing? And if you can do it, I can do it. And my God, 1,300 calories a day serves no one. It serves no one.
And I was even gonna dabble in, I used to carb cycle. I've tried everything. So yeah, so I was going to, I don't know, I was going somewhere and I thought, I was going to Hawaii. I'm like, you know what? I've been doing great with my macros. I've been just consistently eating my allotted calories. And how about we carb cycle 2 weeks before, Hawaii? So I get my macros, my low carb and my high carb days. For those who don't know, carb cycle.
Did you consult with your macro coach?
Yeah. So she gave me a low carb day and then she worked everything out. Day 1 of low carb day, I was like, forget this. I'm still okay. And so because I have had an eating disorder, for my mind to go back into like deprivation mode of I've got to now go back to eating, say it was still only like 1,700 calories. It wasn't like I was back to
a lot of food. It's a lot of food.
Still a lot of food, but me mentally, I'm like, I am A-okay just at my calories that I am on a steady state. Why am I even trying to dabble into carb cycling? Why am I trying to, overthink the whole situation? So that's another thing. I have learned to not overthink things. Oh. So in the past, if I would have had one cookie, I would have, you know what? I've had one, I've screwed up the whole day. I'm going to have 10. Yeah. So now it's like, forget it. It's a cookie, jot it in my, my fitness pal and move on. In the past, I would have overthought my workouts. Like, I see all these people at the gym doing this workout or this type of workout or this new class or this craze. Just do your thing. It's great that you're working out, but if your diet's not on point, doesn't even matter. Yeah. So, that has helped a lot. And I drink a ton of water. I mean, I love alcohol, but I'm not a big drinker. Like on the weekends, I'll drink. I don't need to have a glass of wine every night. I don't need to have, my go-to cocktail. But for the amount of hard work you put in, if you do have a night or two of drinking, say on the weekend, it's not worth feeling crappy and getting up and trying to kind of restart where you're left.
Do you track your alcohol too on the weekend?
I loosely track my alcohol, so I'll just go in and put, so for example, I'll put 30 grams of carbs. You can just enter carbs. You can just, carbs or fat. I'll either take from my carbs.
Fitness Pal, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't really put like a glass of wine. I don't go in and add like 6 ounces of wine because that really doesn't, I think, equivalent. So I'll just add 30 grams of carbs for one drink or 14 grams of fat.
30 grams of carbs. So that's a lot.
So
what are you drinking?
Well, wine. So you're just having a 6 ounce glass of wine.
So for like a glass of wine, like a 6 ounce glass of wine, you'll attribute that to 30 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
Okay. I know I have the macro conversions for alcohol written down, but I don't have them memorized.
Yeah. So I kind of just will add like, okay, I'll put 2 drinks in, but that's a lot. So
yeah, it is.
You get to see what's important. Now, another thing that I've done, which helps, and I was dabbling in intermittent fasting as well. Mm-hmm. So I find, and I've kind of come to the realization of, for me, like when I go away for work trips or vacation, I will typically incorporate it then, just to give me, for the mindset of if I'm starting my eating shift at 11 o'clock and I have my 8-hour window, and this may be too far. I don't know if you want to get into this, but
no, go ahead. We love it.
For when I travel, I don't feel, and here's the guilty thing of like, worrying about cocktails and food that's not really on point with what you've been eating and just not having the flexibility to say cooking or trying to make healthier choices. So I'll tend to do the intermittent fasting when I do travel. So I have my 8-hour window when I eat. I start at about 11 o'clock and then I'll eat, my 8 hours, 11 to 7 or whatever. And I find that helps me stay focused when I travel.
Oh, that's a good idea. It's a very good idea.
I don't do it all the time, but traveling for me, it works. That's a whole nother ballgame. So I've picked apart little pieces of things that have worked along the last 5-6 months. And, over the last few months, I started to have people compliment you and say, oh my gosh, I can tell you're really trimming down. So obviously that does make me feel good and keeps me motivated.
100%. I'd like not to interrupt, but that's one of the ways I know that I am like on track, like on point versus not on point, is whether or not people say anything to me. Like
Well,
if I pop into like the dry cleaner and the lady's like, "Oh, you're kind of fit," you know, then I'm like, "Woohoo, doing my thing." And if no one says anything for a while, I'm like, "All right."
well, and even
I can start tracking.
my husband, I'm like, you haven't said anything, and I've almost lost, this is before I lost the 20 pounds, like 15 pounds. He's like, well, I didn't think you had any weight to lose. I didn't like, like when you see someone every day, and it's not like, girl, you got to lose some weight. So it was pretty funny, but I'm like, screw you, I've lost 15 pounds.
So now does he say anything or notice?
Well, yes, now he notices, but for the first little bit, I'm like, And I wasn't doing it. And that's the thing. Like, I'm confident enough. I'm not doing it for anybody else but myself.
Yeah,
so,
I love that.
Yeah, it's literally been a great journey. And literally everybody who's asked me what I've been doing, I just give them to Kari and say, she is happy to help you. She's the best person for you. And I can't stress enough how flexible this type of eating and lifestyle is.
And so here's my next question is, do you feel like, is 2,200 calories hard to do? Like, no. 2,200 calories can be a lot of food.
But I'm like, give me more calories.
Okay, so you're loving the food. So you don't feel like it's your job to eat.
It's not I have meals like today, for example, what I've had so far. And I typically in the morning, not knowing exactly maybe what dinner's going to be, but I try and get everything in MyFitnessPal in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I can kind of play around and see. And here's the great thing for those who may use MyFitnessPal or thinking like, oh, I want to do this flexible dieting. I will put in, if I know where I'm going for dinner, where I'm going at dinner, if I'm going to have my glass of wine, if I'm going to have, that hot fudge sundae, I put that in my MyFitnessPal first. And then I'll kind of shape the rest of my day around so I'm not feeling deprived, or if I know, there's an event coming up. So that's been very helpful. But as far as breakfast, I have, 1 egg typically with 4 egg whites. I have bread with butter, with jam, with ketchup, with potatoes, with bacon. Like, I would never have eaten that ever in my life before, because to me, that was all bad. To me, that was not. It's like, where's your egg whites and your steamed vegetables? That is what,
That's the typical fitness weight loss mindset for sure.
And like a bagel. Well, I don't have a bagel every day, but I can have a bagel with cream cheese. Like, that was what I ate when I was a kid. I didn't eat that, in my adult life. God forbid. That's carbs, that's fat, that's bad. That's like the whole mental. So now that my mind is in the right place, like, okay, it may not be the healthiest option, but it's not the worst option. And if it's full and, if I'm somewhere and I have an Einstein's bagel, wonderful. Let me get that in my macros.
Yeah.
So that, and then for lunch, we went and had tacos today. I had chicken. Okay, so I have shredded chicken tacos, and I'll choose to have, a soft shell versus a hard shell. So I'm still making, corn tortilla versus a hard shell. Don't order chips and salsa because I don't have self-control. And that's another thing. I used to make a ton of chocolate chip cookies because I make world famous chocolate chip cookies.
Nice.
I know my weaknesses, so I can't do that because
I can't do that at all. That cannot be in my house.
I cannot order, get my kids the trail mix that they want, because I will pick through and find the M&Ms and I'll eat everything. So chips and salsa, just don't even order at a restaurant, because I know I can't control, and I will eat the whole thing, and then I'll be horribly miserable. So,
and if I may interject, too, just to share with the people watching us, is I don't think there's anything wrong with sitting down and eating sometimes an entire thing of chips and salsa or whatever. But I don't know about you, but sometimes it's are there foods that you find, Shannon, that make you feel good or don't make you feel good? So if I have that's why I would never eat a bagel, because I would swell up and bloat. And if I had, and I'm also really sensitive to hydrogenated oils, and those damn chips, unfortunately, are fried. And so if I eat a bag, and trust me, I would love to. And I'm not afraid of the calories. If I sat down and ate a basket of chips and salsa, I would look like I was 6 months pregnant. That's just how it would be. Yeah. That sucks. But I always say too, and I say this to my clients, is if you have a reaction like that, it's your body's own little handbook saying I don't like that, don't do it.
Right.
So I don't know. Do you have those? Any food sensitivities like that?
Not too bad. There's some times where I think, is it the food that I'm eating, or is it because I'm eating too fast?
Oh, so that's interesting.
I do everything fast. I have one speed. I joke around. Like I end up breaking stuff because I'm always like, it's super fast. That's my speed.
Very interesting. Okay,
and
cool.
So I think a lot of it, I'm like, ooh, is that a dairy issue, or is that a, bread issue or starch issue? I'm like, I think that was an issue of me just starving my face and not letting, like, taking a chill and just slowly enjoying my meal. So I'm really trying.
There's a lot of merit to what you're saying. Yeah.
So I'm trying to be mindful of that. And I go through like 3 of these huge things of water a day. So that's helpful as well. But yeah, I mean, I feel great. I'm just trying to be more intentional about everything I do.
Yeah.
And, I'm cheering. It's even fun now for my friends who have started with Kari and started with their macro tracking. I'm like, how you doing? How was check-in? Like, it's great to see them feel so good. And the one thing, the first few weeks of them starting out is we're like, this is so much food. I have never eaten this much food.
Yeah.
And they're more on like, let's say the 1,500 calories now, because they're not used to, they feel great. They've been starving and depriving themselves for so long. And, being able to eat a sandwich, for example, like they just, the little things that, like, I used to only eat sandwiches after I'd run a marathon. Like, just the mindset of sandwich is bad. That's bread. That's, mayonnaise, carbs. So.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, you're losing your beautiful necklace. It's coming loose. That's the one. So all of the girls watching are going to want to know, how in the world are you eating 140 grams of protein?
Good question. I eat protein powder. Well, I drink protein powder. So every day I have, like I said, some egg whites or eggs. I either have, I'm slowly bringing back in chicken. I had a chicken and turkey.
A breakup chicken. Yeah, breakup chicken. Yeah.
And I'm not a red meat eater, so it's basically fish and chicken. I'll definitely have, I do eat dairy, so Greek yogurt or some type of cottage cheese. And there's so much protein, or not a ton, but there's quite a bit of protein in things that you don't think of. Some of the breads that I eat, even some, broccoli, for example. You could have 2 servings of broccoli, and that's got a decent amount of protein.
Yeah.
And I
have chia seeds.
Yep. And then I'll have salmon or some type of fish, and the odd time I'll have a protein bar. But that's the one thing that does kind of get me.
Yeah.
So when I travel, I use those. But yeah, it goes fast. I almost think like I may need to up my protein a little bit because I can.
You find yourself wanting more at the end of the day?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing how your body, after a while, like the last few weeks, I've been on the same macros, and I can kind of sense where next week is going to go and where I want to have maybe some more protein, a little less fat, a little more carbs. Like I can kind of sense like where this is going. So it's to me, it's a game.
It is a game. I agree with you. And I also have a lot of people say like, oh, tracking in my Fitness Pal, I don't want to take that kind of effort or that kind of work or whatever. And I feel like my Fitness Pal is almost like a game of Tetris.
It is.
Yeah. And I agree with you. If I know that I'm not tracking my macros now and haven't been for a while, but I'm just not in that season of my life, but I certainly have been many times. But I have always enjoyed putting in the things that I really want to eat first. Yeah. So like, what do I want to eat? Like tonight is Game of Thrones. I'm going to want a glass of wine with my husband on the couch.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be a half a bag of popcorn in there. And so I'm going to enter that stuff in first. If like I know I have to have chocolate, that's what I'm going to do. And then I like to build around that. And to me, it's fun. And also I find for people who are like not so, or are reticent to start My Fitness Pal is, I don't know about you, but you do wind up eating the same things over and over. So you kind of, things start to, after maybe like the first week, things start to autofill and you get the hang of it. And it's really not that big of a deal. It takes I'd say, if you're heavily tracking it takes 15 minutes out of your day, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Max. And your repeat meals. So I must say, like, I have tracked on and off for probably 10 years.
Yeah.
And I got to a point a few years ago when I just felt like it was, oh my gosh, I was constantly like, meal, got to put it in, and I felt like it was taking over my world and weighing and stuff. So I definitely took a good 6-month break and kind of reevaluated why I was feeling that way. And I've had a few different macro coaches along the way.
Okay.
And my current one, and they're also different. Like there's some are super hardcore, like every single day, right in the spreadsheet. And to me, I was just, that was too
much.
much.
It's too much.
So I wanted to find that balance of, okay, they're not going to totally crack the whip if I have this or go over my macros. It's more of, I needed to find that person who could relate on the level of, you know, I'm a mom, things come up and there's life. And yes, someone who's still holding me accountable, but at the same time, you know, gives me that soft little, all right, let's try better next week or whatever it may be. And you have to trust the person who's doing your macros. So there have been many weeks when I was starting out where I thought, you're going to add 20 grams of carbs a week. I'm going from 150 to 170 grams of carbs and upping my fat. Like, well, in reality, it's only I say 100 calories a week, 150 calories, but it just was so scary because you're thinking, how am I going to lose weight? Or is this really going towards the goal I want? And I trusted the system, trusting, you know, Kari and my coach, and just, wow, you know, the scale kept going down. So
do you feel sometimes too, like in that trust or, you know, just kind of letting go, there's that, you know, we've all heard about how much stress plays a role on your life and your own weight loss experience. And that when you let go of some of that stress, that too can help just let everything go. Like someone else is in charge here, just going to let that be. Like, did you feel a release of stress? I think, you know, I wonder if some people would be like, oh my God, I'm getting a macro coach. Like that is stressful. Or like I'm getting a coach, like, now I can breathe because someone else is in charge.
Yeah, I think just, like I said, when I started this, I'm like, I need to simplify my life. I need to not overthink everything. I've been in this health and wellness world forever, and I'm done helping people. I need to help myself. Like all these things kind of just played into effect of letting go, turning over the reins to someone else who I trusted, and letting it unfold. And I knew she had my best interest. So it wasn't like she was going to, you know, watch me balloon up or.
Were there ever times that she was like, oh, maybe we are a little off course here? Or was she like, no, that's awesome?
And it would be mostly like, you know, let's just stick with the macros for the week. And I would be real honest and say, like, it's been, you know, my compliance has been, say, a 5 out of 10. I wasn't giving it my best shot. This is why maybe the scale went up this week, or, you know, there's so many factors of the scale going up. So it's not all about the scale weight. But I would say, like, you know what, let's stick with these macros for the week because I wasn't being a good girl. Shame on. Let's get back. And that's life, right? So let's get back and kind of refocus. So
cool. And I'm so happy for you. So at what point are you like, I'm good? Like, are you good? Do you feel good now?
And that's the other mental issue. So
are you done?
My original goal was, when I started in November, I had not seen 140s like in forever. So my birthday goal when I was 40 in December, still many months away.
Yeah, you got tons of time.
I wanted to be 140. So then I'm now under 140 and I'm like, oh, I'm going to switch my goal and I'm going to make it like 130, you know, now. And then I'm thinking, what am I doing? Stop. Just quit. You know, it's never, I feel like you reach those goals and you're like, I want more. It's not good enough. So I have to keep reminding myself, take a chill pill, just focus on, I'm going to try and
like, what do you want to like disappear? Like, what are we trying, as women, what are we trying to do? Are we actually trying to become invisible? Like, you know, I don't know.
So I'm going to just see how much food I can eat and still be 140.
Cool. So now so can we say you're in maintenance mode?
Let's not say that quite yet.
She's not ready for maintenance mode.
I think, and it's so not like I preach for so many years that it's not about the scale, and it's not, but I want to just fine tune a little bit, just lifting. And I know with lifting and adding more muscle, the scale will probably go up, which is I'm fine with. Yeah. But I want to now focus on my body fat more than the scale weight. So I need to go get my body tested, and I want to just focus on that and get that checked maybe every 6 weeks. You know, it was interesting because I used to weigh myself like every day, which is bad, just to kind of see the change in the scale. And now it's like once a week, like, okay, I'll get on for the Friday check-ins. And that's a really healthy, you know, that was my goal, just to shave off stepping on that scale. And I had to go buy a scale when I started because I did not have.
Oh, wow. I weigh myself every day, pridefully.
I had thrown that thing away. So bought that, obviously have my food scale and use that, you know, every day. Awesome. And so I do have kids. And one of the things they do say is, why do you have to weigh your food? And as much as I wanted to make it a positive experience, I just let them know that, you know, portion sizes are important to me. And it's just a more accurate way for me to measure. I could probably lay up the scale here and there, but it's the food scale that is.
And also it's, I think the tough thing with the food scale is it's like, it's also like that game of Tetris. It's fun. And if like you have that kind of mathematical mindset, or you're, more of a, like a data driven person, and I am too, it's fun to weigh and it's fun to see. But I'm glad you brought that up with your kids. So like, especially, so Shannon has 2 kids, so as a boy and a girl. How old are they now?
12 and 9.
12 and 9. And your daughter is 12?
No, my daughter's 9.
Your daughter is 9. So 9 years old, that's still pretty young. Do you see her being concerned at all about like her body? Like, do you think that your conscientiousness over your physique is driving her consciousness over her own physique?
I don't think so. I think my small habits of like, we never leave the house without food. Everyone's always got their water. Like those type of things where I'm always have travel with my food. Like who's got their snacks? You can have something healthy before you have the cookie. Like you can have the cookie, but have some fruit first, or have, some veggies first. So I try and really push that more than, I think they're so immune to me just weighing stuff now, or like measuring stuff, or that's just kind of who I am.
Yeah.
So we talk about more of the health side of it versus the overanalyzing, which hope it doesn't bite me in the butt one day. But for the most part,
it is what it is, and you're doing what's right for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think we cross that bridge when we get there. But for the most part, they've been on the news with me. They know about Fit Mom Diet. They've been through, the thick and thin of my health and wellness career. So it's exciting. They love to like be active and play outside, and we don't allow many videos or, much screen time. So for them, they know
we should have another video on that, talking about how you've managed that, because if you guys don't know, whoever's watching, I'm a new mom myself. I have a 1-year-old little girl, and she already is taking the phone out of my hand and can figure out how to swipe. And so we're trying to, like, we don't ever turn the TV on in our house other than the occasional news, or like, how do we keep these children away from all these screens? And not just because it's bad for their eye and brain development, but because you do worry about the impact of social media on our kids' psyches and on their emotional health. And in fact, I recently just coached a friend's little girl who is 12, and she said she wants to lose some weight. And I said, what makes you think you want to lose weight? And she said, I know I've been eating a lot. She said, I know I've been eating a lot. And last summer I looked fine in my swimsuit, and this year I don't look as cute in my swimsuit. And, I'm like, well, that, I can't argue with that. Let's talk about that in a healthy way. But also how overwhelming these days for what we all see, whether you're a kid or you're 45, what's going on online. And actually, that leads me to my next question for you, is you've been very vocal on social media lately about your disdain for the over-sexuality now of girls, like in their crop tops and their booty shorts and getting all kinds of sexy on probably not just Instagram and Facebook, but in the gym. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, I was at the gym the other day, and I have never worked out in the gym in just a sports bra, because I feel like I'm in a public place. This is, if I'm out on the beach run, maybe I'll wear just a sports bra. Anyway, I thought to myself, that these people were working out, and the majority of them are fit, wearing their crop tops and their butts hanging out with their booty shorts, that no wonder these women are intimidated, who may be overweight or are trying to get into a fitness routine and go to the gym. And it's like, I don't want to go to this section because, the intimidation of this figure and what they're trying to flaunt. So to me, I go for more of class than looking for attention. And I tend to cover up more than the average person, or at least these days with everyone trying to show some type of body part. So I just feel like even if you have abs or you have a lovely physique, it doesn't need to be, nearly naked at the gym, especially.
Yeah.
So, and even our young girls, like most of them are moms. So you're wearing this to the gym, and this is what your daughters are seeing. So I have a really hard time.
I agree with you. And I also think, like, I saw do you remember Denise Austin from back in the day?
Yes.
So she is thriving. If you're not familiar, she is thriving on Instagram. Like she's crushing it. And she's still like doing online stuff and online coaching and videos. And she now has 2 grown daughters. And she has this daughter who is now her own fitness and lifestyle brand and personality. Her name's Katie Austin. And I really enjoy following her too. And Katie's a sassy little thing, but she's pretty clean cut, you know, and she rocks a crop top. And but she does it in a way that's a little more classy, you know. I do feel like there's some girls who wear crop tops that are like, I'm athletic, you know,
Right.
This is a cute top, like they don't have all their parts hanging out. And then there's other girls who have like such short shorts and they have their butt cheek showing and a 6-inch cleavage line or whatever. I do think there's a different way to do it. And it's interesting because, and they're going in with that outwardness of like, I'm a sexual goddess, look at me, here I am, versus I'm an athletic chick and this is actually kind of comfortable and I might be cute.
Right.
But someone said to her on one of her comments, like, shame on you for wearing this crop top. And she was not being overly sexual at all, but she said, you know, I'm actually going to take my mama's cue on this one. And she threw some like old school pictures back of her mom in the 90s where, you know, Denise Austin was rocking some leotards or some crop tops or whatever. But you know what? She was never like overtly sexual. Right. They were never like in your face. Because I do think that there is a difference. And I am totally on your side with this. But I do think that there is a difference. And I do think there is no reason to go into the gym looking like a sex kitten at all. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
And a lot of like the individuals, they, you know, you go to their social media page and it's like soft porn. Like,
yes,
your fitness. What are you doing here? Are you trying to be the next, you know, Instagram superstar and have your half lingerie / you know, whatever you're trying to portray with a nice little quote or a nice little blurb, but like you're half naked in your lingerie posing, you know, on the Papago Park rocks. I don't know. Yeah. I just like, what's the message here?
I'm with you 100%. And also I something super interesting is like, I'm a world traveler. I love to travel the world. And one day I was sitting and around the world, American girls have a terrible reputation of being easy. It just is what it is. And I was sitting by myself at a bar in Guatemala, and it was when Road Rules was on. You remember Road Rules? And so Road Rules was on like MTV, and I was sitting there by myself having a drink, and these girls, they were like playing chicken in the pool or something, and the girls are pulling each other's tops off, and it was like spring break, and all the girls are dancing like hoes, and there was a few men in the bar, and they were very nice. And one of the bartenders who actually owned the place goes, "This is kind of why we think American girls are easy, right? Because we are out there portraying on media and everywhere else that's what we're into." And so I don't think it's doing any of us a service to be in our underpants basically and half naked all the time everywhere we go. Like there's a lot more to us than our bodies.
Yeah. And I guess just having children, and I'm more aware now and cautious of what I do post or do share or wear, and somehow trying to be a role model.
Well, for sure. And I also feel too, like when you get dressed, like I've always thought too, okay, so if I'm wearing this at the gym and then I'm probably going to go because I'm in gym clothes all day, like if I run into my nephews or my niece or my clients or anyone, am I going to be proud of the way I'm presenting myself? Or am I going to be like, oh God, like trying to pull and cover?
And even my kids will say, like, are you really going to wear that? And it's not even revealing, but it's like, they're also the first to speak up.
Really? Wow.
And even my son, he's like, oh my gosh, you should have seen what this mom was wearing. I'm like, oh, wow, tell me about it.
Wow. Wow. Well, Shannon, thank you so much. And is it okay if people have follow-up questions? If like, I'm going to tag you on like your social media handles and stuff. Sure. So if people have questions, they can DM you. But Shannon is not available for personal one-on-one coaching, but we will refer out her macro coach because she sounds like a winner. And I think it's an important message that you can eat, you can love your body, like don't be afraid of food, and to let go of all of the stress and just enjoy.
Yeah, simplify your life and just work on yourself. Take the time for yourself.
Yes. And one last comment.
Yes.
I mean, I keep saying that. I don't know if it's ever going to be my last comment, but I really think it's so important and meaningful that as a fitness professional, that you too are seeking expert advice. It's not like you don't know what to do, right? It's not like you don't know how to do this.
It's okay to ask for help.
It's okay to ask for help, and it's
Yeah.
okay to pay for help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I agree with you. I think that once you put your money where your mouth is, you're more likely to have results versus having a friend say, "Yeah, I'll help you out and I'll write this for you." No, you put your money where your mouth is and you get some help and let go.
Right. And people are like, well, I don't want to spend the money, $100 a month. Well, let me tell you what you're spending $100 a month on with your Starbucks and this and that. And I mean, one pair of workout pants and boom. So, and also a few of my friends, like they keep buying, larger size pants. Why don't you spend that money so you don't have to buy the larger pants? Right. And
Wow. Yeah.
better. So,
oh my God, for sure. That's a no-brainer. Well, thank you so much, Shannon. It's been a pleasure catching up with you, and I'm so proud of you and inspired by you. And I'm going to tag you everywhere. So, anyway, thanks you guys for tuning in and watching, and we will see you soon.